PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has been #1 on the chart. Now, for people that don't know, it is what they call a battle royale game. So PlayerUnknown, which is the guy that actually is this game is revolving around, is the gentleman that came up with the original battle royale mod for Arma 2 and Arma 3. So the reason why he kind of like, I looked into his background, he wanted to do Arma 2, Arma 3 was because Arma 2 and Arma 3 was such a great simulation for like a military shooter. He liked the fact that like, hey, like you had a very large map to cross. You had like physics in the guns and the bullets and all that stuff. So it did have bullet drop and all that. And he liked the idea. So he came up with a mod where it essentially picks 100 players, and it will drop you. You basically spawn in a plane and you're flying over an island, and you basically parachute out and you start with nothing whatsoever. And in this map that they have, there's houses and buildings and stuff like that. You go and you pick up weapons, and then it's a free-for-all, like, you know, king of the hill type of a thing. So doing that, he got picked up when H1Z1 became a thing. He actually created the mod for H1Z1, and eventually Sony decided to split that up into the H1Z1 Survival and H1Z1 King of the Kill. Now, H1Z1 King of the Kill, they wanted to make it more arcadey and all that. He still wanted to keep the realism of it. So he essentially left that and went on to become the creative director of a Korean company called Bluehole. And they basically have given him full creative control of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And what's interesting about this is he basically announced he was doing this. Anybody who knew about these battle royales type of games like followed him around and all that. And it's funny because when you look at H1Z1, they say like, hey, it's a finished game. It's ready to go. There's no more bugs. Yet you could click online and find God knows how many Twitch streamers that you'll see multiple bugs in the game. Like stuff from them parachuting down and they literally fall under the world and just fall forever and then die, to they're driving a car and they bump into a fence that should be destroyable, that they can run through it, and it blows up the car and they die. You know, so stuff like that people were like, you'll see them all the time. They'll yell at the camera like, stop saying your game's complete when it's not complete. And it's hilarious because if you look at some of the comments for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, it's like almost like some of the top rated comments are like, this thing's in early access and it's already a better game than H1Z1 King of the Kill. But it has been a game that like I got it because a lot of the streamers that I watched that got me into Rainbow Six Siege and Battlefield 1 started playing it, and they were just praising the game like crazy. And I got it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go out on a whim and get it. And I have not been able to put this game down. It is such a fun game. And yeah, I don't know.
Look at it. It looks interesting. Like you see the different like vehicles, people running around, the costumes. I mean, what person kind of looks like the Arrow from the CW? Yeah. Got snipers.
And that's the thing that's crazy about it. Like one of the biggest things that when he was working on the H1Z1 King of the Kill, like he was like, oh, we should, you know, use Unreal Engine 4. Like we should make it look better. We should make it, you know, like make it more realistic. And they were like, no. Like, you know, typical like big corporate type of a things. They're like, let's just get it out there and let's get it out as soon as possible. We'll do, you know, they'll do microtransactions for stuff and blah, blah, blah. And like, that was the big thing that a lot of people didn't like, is the fact that they put in microtransaction type stuff into it. I believe they removed it for King of the Kill, but it was like, oh yeah, you pay money and it'll like create a drop, but it's open to anybody.
Oh my God.
So like the thing about it is like, they're like, yeah, you can pay a couple bucks and get a military drop, but there's no guarantee that you're going to be the one that actually picks up the stuff that's in the crate. Which is interesting because in PlayerUnknown's Battleground, like once you're on the map, you will still hear a plane every so often fly overhead, and it does drop military crates. And it's funny because the best games and stuff in the game fall from these crates. Like you can only get the military sniper rifles from those crates. You can only get a ghillie suit from the crate. and it's such a like well done, like even in early access with the bugs that they have, it is so minute to compared to like what's out on H1Z1 that's been out for a really long time and so has been supposedly like final release.
So I'm curious, as far as the gameplay, like these weapons, is it something where you can lose it, or like what happens with that? Because like if you get that awesome sniper rifle, is it yours forever, or what is it like?
So the way that it works is like once you get it, you have it for that round. Like once you're dead and all that and you're out, like when you start again, you start just barehanded and that's it. Like the stuff that you look at, the stuff that you wear, the cosmetic stuff. So the helmets are actually armor that you pick up. But the jackets, the shirts, the pants, the shoes, and glasses and stuff like that, and gloves, it's all cosmetic stuff that you can find it in the game world. But as you go playing, you accumulate like battle coins or whatever it is. Like it's like a little in-game currency, and you unlock these crates that give you cosmetic stuff that you could wear. So it's really, really neat how like he's done this. And he sat there and he said, like, once the game hits final release, they're gonna have microtransactions, but it's all gonna be for cosmetic stuff. Like you're not gonna have an advantage going in. And the big thing that like everybody's hoping for, and I really do hope he gets a chance to do it, is they're planning on bringing this to the home consoles, which will be really cool to see that happen. Because I think this will be a great game for like console gamers.
Yeah, I was reading how they were talking about how it's a massive 8x8 kilometer island, and so how many people are we talking about in a game?
100 people.
Okay.
So 100 people in the game. Like they've already done a few patches and things like that here and there that they've put in. So one of the big things that has been the big complaint that you see from people in it is that, oh, this thing, I have a monster system and it runs really crappy. And I mean, even me with my machine, like you can see, like there were certain parts where like if I got too close to like a big city, it would kind of stutter under 30 frames a second a little bit. It still has a good amount of like memory leaks and all that, but I mean, as they've been patching the game, they've been getting it to perform better and better and better. And one of the big things, that a big complaint that people had early on was when you're looking at your settings and all that, if you put like the foliage to like ultra, it put this tons of grass and stuff like that out on the fields. But the thing that people found out was like, oh, anybody that has it on very low, they don't see all that stuff. So you having ultra high, you're laying out in tall grass and you're thinking nobody can see me, when all of a sudden there's a dude that just takes a pop shot at you with a sniper rifle and kills you. And you're like, how in the world did this guy see me? And you realize, oh, he had his stuff on ultra low. I was just laid out in the middle of a flat field. They actually patched that recently where now everybody sees the dense foliage. It just changes the I guess the amount of like how clear the graphics look on the actual foliage, but everybody sees it now. And they're saying so that it won't affect performance. Like you'll see it up to a certain distance, and that's another like kind of like big complaint right now is people, they're saying is like if you have an 8x scope or a 15x scope, you can zoom in and the view distance at what it draws out all this grass is less than what that scope can see. So somebody will be laid out in a field and you can see them from way out and you can take pop shots at them with a gun.
Now, as far as the weapon damage and stuff like that, is it if you have like a sniper rifle and you shoot someone in the head, is that insta kill? Is it shotgun close range insta kill, stuff like that?
So this is the thing that has gotten some big like ups and downs. So he's trying to make it like, hey, these guns are supposed to work to their realistic counterparts. So shotguns super deadly at close range, but you get a bit of distance out from your target and you'll hit them, but you're not going to do as much damage. And then it comes down to also like, is your guy wearing a vest? Is your guy wearing a helmet? So the thing about it is that there's different levels of the equipment and each one gives you more armor. So helmets, level 1 helmet is basically a bicycle helmet. Level 2 is a military helmet. And then level 3 is this like riot crazy, like it is a full metal helmet with a face guard that has like a slit for your eyes. So literally the level, and the way that he made it where it's realistic is you could have a level 2 helmet and somebody can shoot you in the face, and it's like they're shooting at you with no armor on, which is realistic. The level 3, this riot helmet is, since it has a metal face guard, you can take a shot in the face, and you'll survive a headshot. Now, the thing about it is there is one gun that is the most powerful sniper rifle and gun in the game, which is a AWM, I think is the name of it. It is a sniper rifle, a military-grade sniper rifle that takes 50 caliber rounds.
Woo!
So that gun, whether you shoot them in the head, like it is a one shot in the head. I think it's a one shot in the chest, even with a level. I think the only one that is not an instant one shot kill in the chest is if you have a level 3 military vest. And even then, what it leaves you with of life is like, you better hide because you're almost dead. You know, you pretty much have lost that level 3 vest and you're done. But what's interesting that they did is, and I've seen a lot of streamers that do this, is if you're wearing a vest and they shoot you in the legs or the arms, you will still take full damage because technically they're not covered by the armor. And it made a lot of sense when I saw it. Like, he's going for full-on realism with this thing.
As far as the maps and stuff, are there like different ones, or like is there something that's really unique? And my other question would be, do you ever run into it, since there's such a large map, where maybe if it's not fully 100 on 100, you're running around looking for people for a long time?
So the big thing with the way that they did it is it's one map right now. He's planning on doing multiple maps. But the big thing is that the stuff that's generated in the map is random every single time the map runs. And the thing that the game does is, so that it forces all the players to come together, is it will start the map and then it's going to put a circle that's going to eliminate a big chunk of that map. And what it does is that it'll start this like a ring that starts coming in, and it basically in PlayerUnknown Battleground, it looks like this like blue kind of like lightning-y. It's supposed to be radiation. So it basically circles in and then reduces the playable area up to a certain part. And then what it'll do is it'll then pick the next area here's the next playable area, counts down from like a couple of minutes and then shrinks that down. And then it keeps doing that until it literally will always end in an open field. But every single time you play, completely random where it picks like this is where the end game's going to be. So you could sit there and parachute on the top of the map and be lucky enough that, hey, this circle is going to come to the top of the map. Or you can sit there and parachute in and go, oh, I only got 5 minutes initially to start finding stuff. I better find a car because I got to run 3 kilometers to get to the circle.
And it's 3 real in-game kilometers. So that's a long run.
So it is like, yeah, you're sitting there and you're putting your weapons, you're tick, 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 tick. You're running for 5 minutes, just running across a field. And at any point, anybody can see you running on that field. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to shoot at this guy and take pop shots at you.
So it's really free for all. I mean, I guess if somebody really wants to be a jerk, they can team up or whatever. But for the most part, it's every man for himself.
And right, and that's the thing that I've liked about this game is it lets you can queue up either by yourself, you can queue up with a partner, so you go a duo queue, or you can then queue up to 4 people in a squad, and then it's teams of 4.
Can you still kill your squad?
Oh yeah, friendly fire is on.
Oh
no, friendly. Let me tell you, it happened to me like where I was playing with Roger, and I was looting a building. And we're communicating, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go into the building that's next to yours. And I'm like, cool. And I come downstairs, and all of a sudden I hear a door open. Now, it puts a little friendly marker over the other character. I hear a door open, and I hear running, and I'm like, uh-oh, there's someone in, I'm thinking, oh, there's somebody in my building. All of a sudden, I just see a dude whip around the corner, and my reaction was I had a shotgun. I just turned and boom. And right when I shot, that's when I saw him drop to the ground, and I saw his player mark, and he's like, oh, man, you shot me. And I'm like, you told me you were going to the building next to me, not my building. And he was like, yeah, that was my bad.
That's a dangerous mistake.
That's a dangerous mistake. But the thing that I think is really cool that they do in this game is when you're playing solo, the moment they kill you, you're out of the game. When you're playing with either a partner or a squad, when they kill you initially, your guy drops to the ground, and you're like wounded. You're like knocked out, and you can still kind of crawl around, and you can be revived. So you got to kind of like kill the person twice type of a thing. But what makes an interesting tactic is you'll see a squad of people running and you'll see like the one little straggler in the back, and you'll pick that guy off and he's down in the ground. He's crawling towards his friend. And then it's like, oh, do I shoot and kill that guy, or do I leave him alive long enough for his friends to try and come back and revive him and use him as bait?
Nice.
So it is a really like tactful game when it comes down to it.
Is there any other healing besides reviving? Like while
there is like, yeah, there's bandages, and they have like, you know, med kits and painkillers and energy drinks and stuff that you can revive yourself. Like it's a really, like, anybody that has not like seen it, I say definitely go on Twitch and watch a streamer play it. And if it intrigues you enough, like, or if you play H1Z1 King of the Kill, like this is the next evolution of that. Like, you'll probably never play H1Z1 King of the Kill after you play this. And if there's any advice I could tell people that are coming from H1Z1 King of the Kill is, do not jump out of a moving car, because it will kill you. Like, that's the one thing that people hate about H1Z1 King of the Kill. Like, you could be in a police car going 95 kilometers an hour and jump out, and your guy just like, boop, and pops out like nothing, and the car keeps rolling. In Battlegrounds, the moment you jump out of the car runs you over and kills you. And or if you're not going that fast and you jump out and the car doesn't hit you, you'll take damage from jumping out of a moving car, which is realistic. Like, let's face facts.
Nice, and you can get it on Steam for like $30.
Yeah. $30, dude. It is that, like, that. The thing that drove me crazy about it when it first drew my attention was the fact that the guy released it, I think, on either a Friday or a Saturday. And by Monday, they were saying that it had already made over $1 million.
Nice.
Like, yeah, in one weekend. And I think after a week and a half that it was out, they have over 1 million people that have bought the game. So it's crazy.